And none of that. No more of that because we're going to get in trouble. What's going on, everybody? It is me, your boy Gilbert.
And me, Harry.
And we are back once again. Finally, we took a week off last week because we needed to do some much needed Star Wars content. But we are back once again with, if you couldn't tell, with our review of X-Men '97. It is going to be the final, the finale. It's episodes 7, 8, and 9. One episode short this time around. We didn't get a 10-episode run like we did last season. Did that bum you out at all?
I don't know. This one didn't engage me as much as the last season did, so I didn't think I missed it as much.
Fair enough. And I don't know. We'll get to. I was talking about it a little bit off air, but I feel like this season was rushed, so we'll get to that later. But I feel like it could have taken one more episode. Like you guys could have, especially with the filler episode we're going to be talking about today. Like it seems a little weird to be putting a filler episode like that late in the game. But anywho. What's going on, Harrison? It's been a week. How are things going on your end?
Yeah, going okay. I've been catching up on some things. I watched Fantastic Four finally.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
what'd you think?
Pretty good. The guy who they got to play Galactus was a little bit funny for me. He's a British guy, does a bunch of stuff. He's in like Game of Thrones. Ralph Ineson, I think it is.
Ineson,
yes. Yeah. But he also, for a long time, was the voice of like an ad. There's a TV channel called Dave in the UK, and they about 8 o'clock at night, their TV was sponsored by Dacia, the car manufacturer. So that guy's voice is Dacia. Sponsors of prime time on Dave. And so that was all I could hear all the way through anything with Galactus in it in that movie.
He's there also talking about taking the child, and all you hear is Dave.
Yeah, gotcha. He's also he's in that episode of the IT Crowd where Roy gets kissed on the bottom by a masseuse. He's the masseuse.
Oh God. Oh my! I remember him from Game of Thrones. He's like one of the dudes from like the Salt. Like he's one of the guys that Theon gets stuck with during his whole like pirate thing. But yeah. I completely forgot about that. That's awesome.
He's been doing rather well for himself. Yeah, he was the Green Knight in Gawain and the Green Knight. He's in a folk horror movie called The Lord of Misrule. Lots of good stuff with him. But every time I see him, I'm just like, yeah, Dacia, sponsors of prime time on Dave.
I wonder if he would be happy about that, knowing that he has such a high catalog of work, and all you remember is this old commercial.
Probably not. No.
So I'm glad you did. I'm curious also to kind of segue back to our original. Did you catch anything? Did you watch like the end credit scene or anything like that, or did you catch anything?
Yeah. Yes, I saw the end credits where Doom is hanging out with Franklin Richards. And
I think there might be one more after that involves, it's like they show the Fantastic Four cartoon. You know, like they talk about like they have a TV show. When you watch it, that you can see the Sentinels in the background. So yes. It kind of implies that the X-Men exist in the Fantastic Four universe.
I did notice the Sentinels. Yes.
So yeah, I thought that was a cool little nod to, again, it's Marvel being like, hey guys, X-Men. Oh, and already we got 885th Batman fan with 10 jewels saying hiding. I don't know why. What are you hiding from? There's the question. And who is making you hide? There's the big question. All right, shit. I think I'd be more better at doing this by now, but
I believe he sent us a gift. Is what it is.
Indeed. So yeah, he sent us 10 jewels. So I don't know how much that is in real money, but I'm gonna do a simple one.
You are my brother, Anakin. But I had to dick your missus because she wanted it. And my purple wand was throbbing.
Appreciate you. Thanks very much, 885th. Says, I'm hiding from the streaming service prices. Oh. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Your horror fiddly-dee. Being a pirate is all right with me. That's all I got to say to that is, do what you got to do. Anyway, so I guess let's go ahead and get into the episodes before we get too far off the rails.
Mm-hmm.
So the first episode of this it was episode 7. It was Savage Land, Savage Heart. I believe you were mentioning something a little bit about this felt like a recycled storyline.
Yeah, to be fair, maybe the actual story that we got, but I think once we went into the Savage Lands, I was like, okay, yeah, we're sort of the X-Men 97. We're definitely doing a bit of a victory lap. It feels like going around some of the old places that we remember. So we've seen that in having some storylines that feel very familiar, like sort of retreading Apocalypse, going into the Age of Apocalypse, and going back in time. And then now, okay, we haven't seen the Savage Lands in a while, so we're going to do the Savage Lands, which in itself is not terrible. And I'll give it to them. What they do with the Savage Lands is a bit more interesting, I suppose. You know, I think it's an interesting idea for mutants who are trying to find a different way out of the persecution they're experiencing, going into the Savage Lands.
Mm. Yeah, because I mean, like like the way the episode opens is we're reminded of episode 5 of last season. Like it shows that Genosha is no longer like habitable after everything that happened there, which is also it's really I think it is kind of a cool way to start this, to show like another angle from like the Genosha attack. I don't know, man. It's just me. And then we get to see during this, we get to see what's her name, Colossus and his sister Magic during the fight, which again, kind of a cool choice. Like I liked it to begin with, but it just felt kind of sad that the only reason they do this is to just show that she's dead.
This episode does do a thing that I think maybe it would have been better not to have done, of reminding us how many characters are related in the X-Men canon, because it gets a bit silly in this episode.
That is true. Oh God, I didn't even think about that. That's true. So we have Yelena Magic. She's related to Colossus. Then also we have what's his name, Nightcrawler, who's related to Rogue, but also related to the bad guy in this. Like I forget what his name, something Creed. Yeah, something Creed. Yeah, and he's the son of Mystique and goddamn Sabretooth.
Yeah,
it's like. You're right. Oh my God. And then to add that, oh my God, does that make Wolverine like kind of indirectly Nightcrawler's uncle? Kind of.
Yeah, I think so. Something along those lines. I can't remember which version that the cartoon does, because I know that various versions of X-Men have varying different relationships between Victor Creed and Logan. There was a bit about him being his dad. There was a bit about them being brothers. So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Also, just for fun, Juggernaut and Professor X are related. They're brothers.
Juggernaut. Yeah, they're brothers. It spans quite a lot in this whole thing, and it's like, oh yeah, no, this is like and of course, a huge amount of the storyline has been about Cable, the son of Jean Grey, and
and Scott Summers. We also have Havoc. We also have Havoc, who is the brother of Scott Summers, and Polaris, who's the daughter of Magneto. It's like there's so many people. Oh my God.
Yeah. It turns out, like it's not an X gene that is latent within us, and we're starting to evolve. It's that, oh no, we've been inbreeding too much. Oh no. Like, turns out they're all hemophiliacs as well as being mutants.
I mean, okay. I didn't want to say anything, but the kind of like the way that Colossus has like a thing for his sister, it's it's kind of a little weird. Like the way he talks, I'm like, I appreciate like loving a sibling, but like, bro, the way you talk about your sister, I'm like, okay, Also, we had Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, who had some like weird relationships in the comic books. So yeah. I think you're right. I think it's not an X gene. I think it's more of like it's one of those XXX genes on the little jar,
Who knows? If the Russian Revolution had never happened, maybe European royal families would have started getting superpowers.
Honestly, I'm just gonna hot take. The royal family is a bunch of werewolves.
They're a bunch of lizards, and you know it.
I would believe that too. Anywho, hang on, I'm gonna go to this comment real quick, and then we'll move on. I can't look at the Sentinels anymore and not think about RDJ's Dr. Doom saying, "Hell answers to me, for I am Doom." Did you see the new Doomsday trailer?
Actually, I haven't seen that yet. No.
yeah, in it he does this like thing where he pulls his hand out and then a bunch of like sentinels pop out of the ground, and they're a lot better than any of the sentinels we've had thus far.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't know when you have the chance, check it out. But anyway, so yeah, we get this whole thing of her like saving mutants, but then she ends up getting blasted by the sentinel, and like the only reason they show that, they don't show anything that happens after that. They only show this just to show that Colossus is pissed off. And I think that's kind of it was cool, but I think that's kind of a disservice because I would have liked to see a little bit more of like, again, if you're gonna show us the Genosha thing again, like show us like other mutants, like don't just show us these two just to show us that he's like, oh, my sister died, now I'm angry.
I think we do see, is it some of the mutants who then become acolytes of Magneto? Or maybe, actually, I might be wrong about that, but yeah, we see them getting saved at least.
Yeah, like we see a few, like, and that's all well and good, but anyway, then what we get after that is we get a Trump rally. I'm sorry, we get a what is her name is Creed rally, where all the but we get like the Friends of Humanity all showing up and running. We're having him run for president, and I swear to God, you'd think I would remember his name, or like with his like I know it's something stupid.
Grayson Creed.
Graydon Creed. See, yeah, Graydon Creed. That, like I said, I knew it was something stupid. Yeah, it says, please welcome Mr. Graydon Creed. I'm like, I knew it was something stupid. But yeah, so we get to have him. We get to see him announcing his run for the presidency. You know, like being like, oh, they're using state-run mutants against us. They're fucking mutants are the enemy. You know, the normal right wing thing. Like, just like what is it? Replace mutants with Mexicans, and it's kind of the same thing now.
Yeah. And
anyway,
we end up in this moment where we see him stirring up huge amounts of hate. You know, we know from earlier things that he has been actively violent towards mutants, has like provided weapons, has armed people, and done everything he can to just kill mutants. And then we are supposed to feel sorry for him when violence is enacted back upon him.
Yeah, no, I'm like, are we though? See, because that was the thing I kind of wrestled with this episode, is that it's a moral episode. So yeah, like we get the acolytes of Magneto, as they call themselves. Like they show up and they're being led by, I forget what his name is, not Colossus, the other guy.
Oh, Exodus. Yeah, I was just looking at Exodus because that was a character that I'm not very familiar with. And interestingly, at the moment I was reading his biography, it says he was born in the 12th century as Benet du Paris. He's a crusader and best friends with Eobard Garrington, the Black Knight.
Oh, nice. So we got some like Eternals reference or like connections up in here.
Yeah, we just decided to just drop that in. We're not going to explain anything about it, but that's what he is. Don't ask questions. Yeah. Don't make us explain that he's a medieval knight who is also now a mutant in the modern day.
I feel like that's again, it's kind of like some of these characters you're either going to know or you're not going to know. Like you either have to do some homework or you've already done the homework for a lot of these guys.
Very true. Yeah.
But at any rate, so yeah, we get to have him, like Exodus and the acolytes of Magneto show up. But so what I was going to say is that do we really feel bad about that? Like, are we supposed to? Because it's like, oh no, they're going to kill him and he didn't do anything. Like, didn't he though? He's a fucking piece of shit. Like, let him die. Like,
I suppose I'm thinking more of later on in the episode, the argument is made that it is wrong to attack this man and potentially kill him, or as is sort of being posited in it, to hold him accountable for what he has done. And I think perhaps this is something that would have played easier in the actual 90s. You know, if there was less footage of cops shooting people in the streets, like maybe it would have been played a little bit easier if there were less like actual people in power begging people to riot and sending armed military into cities to clean up and law and order.
Like when government officials are funding state-sponsored terrorism, like in our own like domestic terrorism, and they're like also like they're straight up being like, all right, well, let's treat people like they're animals and put them in cages and shit. Let's not treat them like less than human because they're not us. I'm like, dude, it's this. Yeah, no, I'm like, it's too close to home, guys. Like it's kind of like what 885th said. It's similar to Daredevil Born Again, where they like all the police officers are going in there and like arresting people, putting them in cages because they're like, oh, you're a vigilante. It's like, yeah, just replace one word and it's like it kind of hits way closer to home than we would like.
I also watched One Battle After Another this weekend, which is again really feeding into my like pro-revolutionary vibes right now.
You and everyone else over here. Like I remember when that movie came out, we were watching it. We're just like, there's no fucking like this has got to be like we're watching it being like this has got to be a parody, right? But it's like also no. If as recent events have shown, this is exactly how it's going.
Yeah, there are bits of it that are kind of funny, and there's a lot of it that's just too real.
Especially the what's his name, Sean Penn.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of Sean Penns out there, if you know what I'm saying. And he does feel exactly like an X-Men character. This could be a storyline from there if this was like a Deadpool style R-rated X-Men property. We could do that entire storyline without changing anything. Just change the word revolutionary to mutant revolutionary.
Yeah, like exactly. And I mean, we kind of get that here, like kind of. So with like what's his name, Xavier doing like X Corp or whatever the hell. I had a friend of mine who was talking to me about it. He's like, dude, that was lame. I was so pissed off about that X Corp. It's like, you're already bald. Like, we don't need more like parallels to goddamn DC. It's like, I'm just like, haha, Lex Corp.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I get where he's coming from.
I feel like X Corp must be a thing from the comics, but I kind of agree. This is weird because it's still them doing X-Men shit. And then later on I think it's even in this episode, the X-Men show up on the Savage Land to help. And I'm like, yeah, it's weird. Like there's a couple of like this, and I think the next episode I was like, what? Wait, didn't you guys say you'd lose your charter? Like, isn't that the whole thing?
It's all a bit strange. Like there are some things that have been thrown in here that in a more adult-oriented story, you could do something kind of fascinating with it. You know, like maybe a bit dry, but really interesting, like something like, okay, but what if we're not an educational institute? What if we're a corporation based overseas, so you don't have jurisdiction over us, and we do things that might not, we do things that aren't on American soil, but might involve like some American people. So where are the lines there? And like that might be great for a political thriller. But for this property, the way that this show is going, it's a little bit odd, and it's like an extra step. That do we need that? Like, you could have ignored all of this, and we would have just sailed along happily, and the story would have not changed.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I don't know if it was again. I feel like they're trying their best because they understand that adults are watching this cartoon. Like they're trying their best to make it adult oriented, but also being like, well, kids are also good. We have to keep their attention because in the long run, it's younger people who are going to be watching this. Like, I get it, but it's also just it's a weird kind of balance they're trying to keep here.
Definitely.
Speaking of adult things, how did you feel about so we get them like, X Corp, they go to the Savage Land. They're going to go like try to save, because Nightcrawler says that we have to go save my brother. They end up being convinced, and they go, try to help him. And while they're there, the X-Jet crashes for the umpteenth time. And we get this part of like Polaris and what's his name? Bishop. Yeah, like starting like a really do we've talked about it before with like unnecessary like shippings, like the Forge and Storm. Or is this another one of those for you? Because this kind of was for me. I'm just like, skip.
Yeah, like I kind of appreciate that it's mostly just the sort of tension that they allude to. It's kind of funny that their little storyline, the little adventure they go around, is about how Polaris has to help him release himself and find some relief before he gets too backed up and explodes.
Just that's what I'm saying. It's like subtle but adult things.
Yeah, it was okay. I wasn't too mad about it. I think for me, I've kind of accepted that as a thing in X-Men, that you have these kind of pairings, and it's almost like an inevitability of when you have like a big cast. Like, we already had it a bit when Avengers come along. It's like, well, we want to sort of have some romantic subplot or something in there because we're trying to make a 4-quadrant movie. So, okay, Bruce Banner and Natasha Romanoff are kind of interested in each other. And it made a nice enough story in that. I think they played it well enough. So I'm not too mad. It's when it is the entire plot that I do get a bit bored. And again, when I've seen it a load of times, I haven't seen Polaris and Bishop being an item that much in the media that I've consumed of X-Men. So I'm not tired of it like I am with Jean Grey and Scott Summers.
No, that's fair. That's kind of why I'm looking forward to the new Wolverine one. Is it's making Jean Grey Wolverine's girlfriend finally, and just being like, "Fuck it, we're done with this. We're either gonna do it or we're not."
I also I'm aware that I'm a real hypocrite when I get mad about some of the shipping things because I am such a Remy and Rogue stan. Since I was a kid, no, Gambit and Rogue are in love, and you cannot do anything about that.
It's fair, but I think is that because you wanted to be Gambit?
Well, yes, he has a cool coat and he throws playing cards and he's got a cool voice. Why would I not want to be Gambit?
He has a cool coat.
He has a really cool coat.
He does have a cool coat. But I love how that's always the discourse around Gambit is just like, oh, I wanted to be him so much, and I wanted to be with Rogue, and she's so hot, and fucking, and he had the cool. I learned how to throw cards for that. I'm like, I did too, but I'm just saying. I think it's funny how everyone we all at some point in life, a man is going to center or he's going to model his life after Gambit somehow.
And it was the late 90s, early 2000s, long coats were very much in. There was Gambit in X-Men. There was Neo and everyone else in The Matrix. There was the Columbine shooting. Just long coats were in. Everyone was all about it.
Yeah, no, that's true. But before all that, yeah, that was, you're right. No, before it got associated with school shootings, the duster coat was a badass look.
Yeah, you got to tell me that. Oh, damn it. Dirty Dozen? Is that the one with the long coats? Everyone's in dusters? Anyway, Westerns have enough dusters.
It's yeah. All right. Fair enough. Let me see here. Okay, so yeah, we got Draven in here saying, I feel like Death Gambit needed more than one episode. Speaking of Gambit, yes. Again, that's what I'm talking about. This whole Savage Land thing was kind of a filler episode. Just to make for no reason than to just be oh, well, from a good person's point of view, everybody deserves a shot at redemption. No, fuck that guy, let him die, move on, let Death Gambit come in for another episode.
I do think that maybe it was entirely here to remind us that Nightcrawler is a thing, because of what they wanted to do later in the show. They're like, oh, hang on, Nightcrawler's been around, but he's not been a big enough part, so we'll make him the lead of an episode, and then maybe it'll mean something when we get to the end of the season.
I guess. It bummed me out. Again, so we get Nightcrawler, Colossus finds their ship, he brings them to their headquarters and is willing to hear them out. But it just made Nightcrawler insufferable for me because I'm just I don't care. Also, this thing, him having the collar, I'm we get it, dude. You're we get it. You're Christian. Can we move on, please?
Yeah, I appreciate. Okay, so because he is actually a priest, and I think in the last season he definitely conducted a funeral, and did he also conduct a wedding as well?
I think so. I think you might be right. But
he definitely did someone's funeral. Was it Gambit's funeral that he might have done?
Yeah, no, he did. Yeah, he definitely officiated Gambit's funeral. But I want to point out that he was also he was a monk or something, or he was a father or priest in in the original series.
Yes,
when they first run into him. But yeah, it bugs me because I'm it's just throwing it in our face. I'm we get it, guys. He's religious. We don't. It's unnecessary.
It's always been a part of the Nightcrawler story that I've never vibed with as much. I think I kind of appreciate it. The idea of looks like a demon, but he's very religious, very pious person. Nice duality there. I have to admit, like the Nightcrawler that I liked the most, and I really liked Nightcrawler when I was younger. It was the X-Men Evolution Nightcrawler. I liked it when he was just kind of an awkward kid. Like that just worked a lot for me.
Yeah, like he wasn't even all that ugly. He was blue. Like he looked the exact same. He just was blue and had a tail.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I do kind of like that one too. There was a lot about the X-Men Evolution that was like really, really good, and I wish they'd stuck with that.
Oh yeah, the X-Men Evolution was cool.
So yeah, we get. Okay. Also, this I want to talk about this real quick. So this episode, we get to see like they have like a shrine to Magneto, and we have Rogue who like reacts to it. But in the next 2 episodes, it's like entirely like she has a very revisionist history of how things went. Like her dream, of like dancing around in Genosha is like Magneto's not there anymore, and she starts like doing that, and then she sees Remy die, and she's like, "No!" I'm like, "Bullshit, man! You were all about Magneto. Don't give me the credit. Don't you dare gaslight me, Disney." Like so I'm not happy with Rogue with these 3 episodes because again, like here she's doing her thing of like, "Oh, Magneto, I'm still in love." You know, I still have feelings for him, but then in the next 2 episodes, when Remy comes back, she completely forgets about all of that. And I'm just not about it because I'm just like, yeah, you fucked him over, and he was still all like about you. And Rogue done pissed me off last season.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Anyway,
this whole you mentioned it earlier, like with how much Colossus is into his sister. Goes a little bit far. I think that they didn't land the messaging that they wanted to with that, but we at least get it. You know, it was important to him. I think I appreciate when we have these stories of X-Men questioning the Charles Xavier style of doing things. But I think what upsets me is how much it is constantly challenged, but constantly sort of gone, no, but this is the right way to do it. And it's never done very satisfyingly. I don't expect a cartoon to answer quite a deep moral question, but the fact that it just kind of defaults to like, no, be a good boy and don't cause trouble. Like every time, I'm like, no, I think you need to like have characters be in a more of a gray area for a while and have them accept that they don't know what the right thing is to do.
So yeah, and like, well, yeah, there's that, and then also I think we need to stop having. I think we need to stop making bad guys like always relatable, because there's like, so I think we need to like nuance is okay, but I think we need to stop with it as much because with this one, what we find out during the trial is that like his parents were really mean to him because, oh, well, they wanted him to be a mutant, but he wasn't a mutant. He was born a human, and then they looked at him as less than. I'm like, dude, can we just not with this? Because I don't. First of all, that's not enough for me to be like, okay, well, clearly all your murdering was justified now. Like all your murdering and hate mongering was. I'm like, no, dude, you're still a piece of shit. Even if your mommy and daddy were mean to you, it's like they were mean to Nightcrawler too, and he became a good person.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how mean Ted Bundy's dad was to him. He's still Ted Bundy. He's
exactly
like, and this idea that like that's not what happens to everyone who has like abusive parents or has traumatic events in their childhood. They don't all become terrible people. And the way I sort of see it sometimes is like there are certain things I feel that you lose your right to empathy when you do it. Like, no, I don't have to feel sorry for you anymore because you did something bad enough that I'm like, no, even when something bad happened to you, it didn't make that okay. You know,
exactly.
There are weird places where it gets more and it gets less, and there's gray areas to everything. But I definitely have times where I'm like, no, man, I don't need to feel sorry for you, and I'm not going to.
Exactly. And I don't think it's like the good guys need to be like, oh, well, we need to be good people about this. Like, this is the right thing to do. And it's like, or having to struggle. It's like, it should be pretty obvious. I'm like, Dad, this guy made his bed. Let him lie in it, you know?
Yeah. Like feeling like that is when someone has a freak out at Chili's and like throws stuff around, you know, like took too much MDMA in the bathroom and then came out naked. Like that's when you have that, like, hey, he was going for a real rough time and his dad was real mean to him. He's never really learned how to deal with this. Not like, oh yeah, no, he was selling weapons to murder everyone with certain genes.
Yeah, and it's just because he was pissed off that he didn't get to be a mutant. He was jealous that he didn't get to be a mutant. I'm like, that's, some tough titties, dude.
Yeah, and I'm real sorry that Victor Creed was your dad. He's a piece of shit. To be fair, we should have killed him ages ago, but he's a popular character, so he's still alive.
Yeah, like they made him immortal, or they made him like a Wolverine. He's just as immortal as the other guy.
That's true. Yeah.
So it's like, them's the breaks. That's just bad beat. I hate to tell you. But yeah, so like that's kind of like I'm glossing over a lot because that's like 15 minutes of the show is him trying to convince is Nightcrawler trying to convince Exodus that it's like, yeah, he's a piece of shit, but he has the right, or he has the ability to change, and so let's give him a shot. And he convinces Colossus, I think Colossus says, you didn't convince me, but I know you would have convinced her. Like he's like, my sister would have believed you, so he joins them. Which again, kind of a cop out, but whatever.
Yeah, no, the way they deal with Exodus is a bit weird because he sort of immediately freaks out and calls Peter a heretic and starts to attack everyone, even without Peter saying guilty or not. Like he doesn't get to say that before Exodus freaks out. So I also didn't really appreciate that messaging of just like, oh, see, they're all as bad as each other. And I'm like, no, don't set out that precedent. It causes trouble. But hey, it's a cartoon.
Yeah, false equivalency. But yeah, I agree. It's like, we'll just let it go because it's that whatever. I like this part where he like kind of just like leaves him on a snowy mountain. Like that's kind of the same thing as murdering him.
Well, unfortunately not, because he then wins the presidential election.
That's true. So clearly someone finds him, but I'm just like, it's, the guy's just wearing a suit and he's in the middle of, I don't know, bumfuck nowhere, just on some snowy mountain. I'm just like, you'd think it's probably going to end up not well.
Yeah. Should have like bamfed away with his clothes.
That's funny. Let me see here. So Draven says, so I noticed that Magic had her New Mutants uniform on, but I don't remember her ever joining Xavier's school in the OG show. I don't think Magic was in the OG show. I don't even think Colossus was in the OG show.
Oh, Colossus was. I remember Colossus being in the OG show. I don't think to that extent. I don't know how much, but I agree with you. I'm not sure how much Magic was in it. I think they've done this with a few characters where they've sort of introduced them this time and then kind of acted like they've been around for a while. I don't know if it's supposed to have been a bit of a time skip or anything like that. I don't know whether the only reason they showed her in a New Mutants uniform was so she was recognizable.
See, that's what I mean. Is it like maybe it's because other movies have come, like they're trying to reference like the New Mutants movie that came out, or they're trying to reference like other things and try to kind of retroactively be like, oh yeah, no, they were around here all the time. We just didn't see them because, reasons. But
yeah, exactly
yeah. So let me see here. So yeah, but like basically that's the end of that. Like they win, they fight. Exodus, and Colossus comes back to join the school, and then we get to see like X Factor and X Factor come and find what's his name, a dead Apocalypse, which again really, but I knew exactly what they were doing. I knew that meant that Apocalypse transferred his consciousness into Remy, but it really bugged the crap out of me because I'm just like, God damn it! I thought we were doing a thing here. Why are you doing this?
It does bring up the question of I don't know why they bothered. I don't know why we sort of bothered doing this. Would the story have been really any different if Remy was just a horseman? We still could have done like the same story basically of like, oh, we've got to get his mind out of there before Apocalypse completely destroys it. If Apocalypse is just going to come back anyway via Remy, I don't get it. Why are we doing this?
Exactly. It's kind of a weird thing. And then more than that, it's just like, I feel like it's the rules with Remy's, like his horseman powers is kind of weird because we have this whole thing where he's able to like corrupt people and like all he has to do is touch them. And like he ends up making Nightcrawler his, like one of his servants. I think he ends up making the whole, actually the whole X-Men team his like thralls. And so it's just weird how they make that. That might just be Apocalypse's influence, but yeah, you know what I mean. It's kind of a strange thing that they do with his powers.
Yeah, you could maybe stretch it out because of like how much his existing powers are connected to touch, because he has to touch things to transfer kinetic energy into them so that they then blow up. But it's a lot.
Also, I'm curious. One thing I just want to mention real quick that I really liked. Oh shit! It's not this episode. It's the final episode. My bad. No, I'll bring it up on the final episode when we review it, because it's the opening that changes. But all right, so here we go. This next episode opens up with, again, Rogue totally gaslighting the audience. Like, I was so pissed off watching this. I'm just like, that is not how it went. And I get that.
I mean, I can sort of see it as this kind of like wishful thinking that, you know, she's wishing that she'd spent that last night with Gambit instead of with Magneto.
Yeah, I guess, but I'm just like, it just bums me out so much. I'm watching it, I'm just like, that's not how it went, and you know it. And I guess it's, again, trying to show that like Remy has the ability to like enter her mind as Death, because that's what causes her to wake up, is that she's having this dream, and then she suddenly sees that like he's able to like corrupt her mind or do some like weird magic mishigas with it. And yeah, I don't know what that was, but that's, yeah, she ends up doing that. Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of skip over the obligatory like, oh hey, we're all friends, we're playing poker. It's their like it's their next generation moment.
Yes, yeah, it's the TNG moment. Yeah, they're all sitting around playing poker. Data's got his visor on.
Yeah, exactly. They're teaching Data about bluffing or something like that.
Exactly that.
So yeah, we get X Factor and their team shows up. They show them that they found Apocalypse's corpse, and that they suspect that he transferred into Remy. Let me see here. And yeah, I think okay. So there's one thing I thought was cool. What did you think of Cerebra? Like that, I think this was the first episode where we find that they changed Cerebro now to I guess a stronger version.
Yeah, I don't quite get what the significance was of calling it Cerebra. Like, it's Cerebra.
Cerebra. No, it's like I feel like it's because it's a girl now. It's yeah. So instead of Cerebro, it's
I didn't think that so Cerebra es una mujer. Like what? Like why? Why are we doing this? Fine, okay.
You know, why not? You have to change the name because he has the cool new helmet now. Now they can all be standing in Cerebro with him. Like, I don't know. But yeah, so he goes to Cerebro to try to find Gambit, and we end up seeing like that Gambit had, like, again, his powers are a little weird, so now he has like psychic powers as well, because he can now like fight off Cerebro. Like, it's really unclear what the powers are with Remy, like why his powers change or what his powers are with Apocalypse in him.
It does feel like that's kind of how we're treating being a horseman, is this sort of slight free for all on powers.
Okay, well, that's a weird question to ask. What the fuck are you? What? Oh, I don't know. I mean, I think I'm human. I don't know.
Yeah,
I could be an AI. I could be a robot.
We could never know. That's always possible. You know. What are you, sir?
I think a bot. I think that is a bot. I don't know, but and then we also had Draven saying, I think Cerebro was a Grant Morrison thing. I don't know what that maybe.
If you can give us any more details, that'd be interesting to know.
So this is one thing. We get to see this thing. What's her name? The External. That was the chick who was in Egypt earlier. Oh shit! Let me pop this up. There we go. So yeah, like Remy, when he goes to Louisiana, and then goes and meets like his old team. Like his old, like I guess thieving team, whatever they're called. The what are they? The League of Assassins. So yeah, something like just the Thieves Guild or whatever the hell that he was like rolling with when he was a kid. And I guess he brings them so he can like he tells him like, hey, you're gonna go take me to your boss, the External, which is again the lady from from Egypt who was like Apocalypse's like girlfriend or something, or she became one. It's really, I think it's kind of dumb how they gloss over a lot of the stuff here. Like they're just like, oh yeah, she was someone from ancient Egypt who became his girlfriend and then stole his powers, and then she just kind of fucked off, and then she became the leader of a thieves guild or something. You know what I mean?
To be fair to them, like I think this was a similar sort of level of storytelling we've always had from the animated series, where you just sort of get told stuff, and you just kind of have to live with it. Which again, it's an interesting thing. Of I have to say they have managed to make it more palatable in this than when you try and go back and watch a lot of the old shows. So I'll give them that.
Mm-hmm. I guess, yeah, it's fine. It's like I'm not gonna like be like, oh, it's the worst fucking thing. The MCU is dead, boo. But it's still, it's just like, god damn it. The fact that that's how they end up doing that. Let me see here. So yeah, we like basically Gambit tells them they're gonna take him to the External. They do that, and then we get to see like after he's corrupted them, they take down X-Force's like ship or their plane, and I kind of like this like weird motorcycle thing that he's riding when he does it. Like I kind of fuck with this. Like there's one part later on in the episode where he ends up pulling out his bow staff and it like grows a scythe, and I'm like, that is the coolest fucking thing.
That was pretty fucking dope. Yeah, I suppose one thing we didn't sort of quite cover is about how I think it's X-Force are very much on the end of we're here to kill Gambit, because they've sort of become aware of this idea that Apocalypse is within Gambit. The X-Men are very much focused on they want to see what they can do to save Gambit and to get him out and get the Apocalypse influence out of him and bring him back. Whereas Cable is being very much Cable and is like, no, I have my one thing that I do and I'm here to kill him. And I think they do say when X-Force first get there to the mansion, they're sort of like, this is a rescue mission. We can't have your like over the top stuff going on. Actually, that might have been earlier. But we have to try this. And so we have this tension building of like, is it going to be possible to save Gambit in any way without killing him? Which I don't know how you feel about it. Do you feel like there is like an existing tension there, or are you sort of like, no, there's no way we're going to kill Gambit a second time. He's always going to get out of this story alive.
Yeah, no, I figured like you're not going to have a whole season where he's like dead and you know the characters are having to reel with that, and just to bring him back just to kill him again. Like, yeah, no, I thought one thing that pissed me off though, and spoilers for the final episode, is that Nightcrawler is the one who died. Like, I get pissed off that we end up getting, and it's a good picture to start on. I'm pissed off that we get Nightcrawler being the one who ends up getting murdered. Like, not here obviously, but by the end of it, he ends up sacrificing himself so Rogue can like be with Gambit, and I'm like, I am not about it. Like, Nightcrawler is just as cool as Gambit, if not, like he's on that level, you know what I mean? And I'm like, there's no reason to kill him. If you're gonna kill off anyone, like, why not Sunspot?
Oh, but what Jubilee will be so sad if Sunspot dies.
Or Morph, you know, I could lose Morph. I don't know. let them die, and then like have a final like, I love you, Logan. You know what I mean?
I do feel like they are slowly going down the popularity tier list of characters to kill off. And like, so killing off Gambit in the first season was a huge thing because Gambit is such a fan favorite, and especially from the animated show. Like, I think the animated show really made people connect with Gambit and show how cool he was. They got a great voice actor for him. And so then, all right, we're going to do that. Oh, we're going to bring him back, but we need something that's a similar sort of weight. Well, we don't want to just kill off Rogue, which they do suggest. Rogue, when looking for a solution to this, speaks to the Celestial that is attached to ship, Apocalypse's vessel. The Celestial confirms someone has to die in order to save Gambit. And so, we could do that. But then this is like, well, what if we do? What if we kill off Rogue? What's the point of bringing back Gambit? Like, you know, is it just going to be this eternal back and forth of Gambit dying to bring back Rogue, Rogue dying to bring back Gambit, and it's going to be like that whole scene from Endgame, just even more drawn out.
Have you ever watched Supernatural?
No.
Okay, so it's kind of the same. There's a lot of shit like that where one of them will like sell their soul to the devil to save the other one, and the other one has to go into this whole thing to like get his contract from the devil and like stop that, and it becomes a whole fucking thing of them sacrificing themselves for each other every goddamn season. And so it's like, yeah, no, I feel that. I'm like, and I don't want that either. That would be lame. And I worry that season 3 of 97 is going to be that. Well, we gotta get Kurt back. Well, there's got to be a way to get the Celestials to make him alive again or something.
And who's popular but slightly less popular than Nightcrawler? Like, who can we have
Cable.
next? Cable. Yeah,
we could kill off Cable, but we could let him stay dead. just to really fuck with Jean and Cyclops, like, because fuck them. So it was after the X Factor jet or whatever, after their plane goes down, that's like the other X-Men they end up seeing it. This is what I'm talking about a few minutes ago, is that where this is where they're like, oh, we gotta go help them, we gotta go do the thing. I'm like, wait, what? Wasn't that a whole reason they started X Corp is because you guys can't help them? But they decide to go be like, nah, fuck all that, we're gonna go help them. And then we get what's this? We get this whole creepy like Gambit trying to like seduce Rogue and be like, hey, so be my death queen or whatever this is. Like, I do kind of like this where he's actually able to like touch her now since he's undead. Like, he's like a zombie, so he doesn't have to worry about touching her anymore.
I noticed that, yeah, because that has sort of been a very important part of getting to Rogue in a lot of different stories, of like the person who can actually touch her it's such a need that she has, the life that she lives without touch, that when someone can actually have contact with her, she sort of is immediately drawn to them. Which,
I mean, at that point, maybe being a zombie would be the good. Maybe that's the move. I'm like, because if you want to be with Rogue, dude, that's But I'm thinking what I'm saying is I want to hit myself with a zombie virus. But
I remember when I was a kid, I always thought that the solution to the Rogue thing was, do you remember, this is a terrible example, but do you remember in Batman and Robin where Robin kisses Poison Ivy, but he put like
rubber lips.
Yeah, he put like school glue on his lips and then he like peels it off like afterwards.
Rubber lips are immune to your charms. I'm like, oh my god, such a bad.
Yeah.
See, okay, hot take: Rogue's powers are stupid, or they're at least the way that they explain Rogue's powers are very stupid. Because if you look at scientifically, guys, atoms don't actually touch each other. This right here, my fingers are not touching because the atom on the atomic level, the atoms are forcing each other. Like there's a wee little gap right there. So therefore, Rogue has nothing to do with physical touch. I'm sorry, but it's bullshit. Rogue's powers are stupid. I don't buy it. She doesn't touch anything. No one touches anything. You don't touch crap. Like,
I mean, I don't know. There's an awful lot of other people's powers that then no longer work if they have to be touching on absolutely anatomical level. Like, it's. Yeah. I think maybe it's okay. Like, if you want to get into all sorts of weird things of like the whole how come she still got Ms. Marvel's powers, even though everyone else's powers run out, and they've done some other interesting things to her in later series. I remember a comic where she could access all of the people she had touched in the past, and like all of their powers were sort of stored in her, and like at certain moments she could bring them back out.
See, that would be useful. That'd be cool as shit. But like, yeah, but I just don't like it. I'm all for the idea of her like absorbing energy or something like that. But again, the idea that it requires physical touch, I'm like, I don't buy that. I hate their workaround with like, oh, Magneto made an electromagnetic body condom. I'm like, fuck that shit.
Yeah, I think that's where it gets dumber. Is some of the workarounds they've tried to do. Like, no, hang on, it either works or it doesn't. Like, don't give me this. Like, I'm okay with the more basics of she can't touch anyone. Touching her through clothes doesn't count. it's fine.
Hmm.
But yeah, Magneto's powers are some of the ones that they do the weirder shit with. For example, I can use electromagnetism to let me touch you and it'll be fine. And also, like, I can use electromagnetism to affect non-ferrous metals, something that annoys me a little bit.
No, I did remember. I watched that episode again a few weeks ago. The episode you were talking about where he like bends Apocalypse's sword, and I'm like, yeah, wait, that doesn't work. That shouldn't be. That's not how that's supposed to work.
Yeah, it's not on.
So I feel like again, when I was saying this felt rushed, and again, like this is one of those things. Like we get this chick who, like, Kang made a big old deal about her. She's like, oh, you're the only one who can stop Apocalypse. It's going to require something external, whatever. And then all they do with this lady is kill her immediately. Like Remy grabs the weird little gem in her chest, and then she just like dissipates. And I'm like, I'm not really about it. It feels like that they only put her in there so that way they could have Gambit like take her little gem thing and give it to Rogue. And I'm like, I'm just like, guys, come on, you can do better than that. You could have put more effort into this lady, or you could have put her into season 3 or something.
Yeah, it seems like that I don't know what they were thinking with this season. Like, it almost feels a little bit like they were at odds of what to do, because they wanted to have the Apocalypse storyline be our storyline for this season, and that was our major story. But they also wanted to go off and have these individual stories and introduce more characters from the extended X-Men canon. And it feels like we didn't get the best of both worlds. We sort of got a bit of a mixed bag that didn't quite work out. So we get too many individual one-off episodes and not enough that's building the story. So when we do actually have to finally do the story, you rush through a lot of it.
Exactly. Like we don't get very much of that. Like he glosses over getting his team, like his old crew together and making them like his disciples, or we gloss over the external thing. Like it's a lot of stuff that they just kind of move right past. And I'm wondering if that's because of a budget issue, or they knew they didn't have very many episodes to work with, or what. But again, I feel like that a lot of this could have been done in 2 episodes as opposed to wasting that last episode with Nightcrawler.
It makes me wonder. I suppose part of it would be when you're continuing on a show like the 90s season, how many episodes did this used to get when it was running?
Like 25, 26-ish?
Yeah, because if it was that, then it is like you have so much space to do individual stories within a season on that, and then you can have some more extended stories that take up multiple episodes. Whereas having less than half of what you had in that season to push this one, it's quite a challenge to try and keep that. Oh, it still feels like the old show because you have one-off episodes and you have major plotline episodes.
Exactly, yeah. And when you only have 9 episodes to do it, you can't do one-off like little playful episodes unless you're like the first season did that, but that was only because to dip a toe back in and kind of get you back in the feel of it. Now, when you start having all these like second season building up for all this like story plot stuff, like you can't. I don't know. Yeah, you can't do that. I don't know. In my mind, I think it's a bad idea. But also, so yeah, we had 76 episodes across 5 seasons of the original show. That's at least 15. Like on average, that'd be 15 episodes per season. Like,
okay, yeah. So they just got more to work with.
And so I'm going to say this. We got Angie saying, "I have a question for you both." Well, shoot, I'm like we're here for it. Go ahead. And while you type your question out, at least the fight was kind of cool. Like I thought this fight with them against like Gambit's like army or whatever, Gambit's like guys. I thought that was pretty cool. I thought like all the X-Men showing up and like both X-Men and like X-Corp. We had X-Factor. We had so many X's just all chilling out together and fighting. And I kind of was about it. And then also I really liked this, how Nightcrawler, he gave like evil Nightcrawler gives no shits. He will absolutely like just drop you into like from high up in the sky. I thought that was great. Like he just does this move where he just like grabs everyone and just drops them from fucking like super high up. I'm like, God damn, dude, it was great.
Just like an X-Men 2, we're seeing the cool version of Nightcrawler, but he has to be the evil version of Nightcrawler.
Yeah, exactly. It's the version that's going to be like that that nobody wants because it's like not his character, but it's also the one that it says the coolest shit.
Yeah.
Or you remember X-Men First Class? Remember Azazel? It's kind of the same. It's the same thing that guy was doing. He was grabbing all the agents and just dropping them. I'm like, dude, that's a wonderful use of that power.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so she says, Gilbert, Harry, do you both think Keanu Reeves would play a great Darth Revan? If you've watched Maul Shadow Lord, do you think that the pink Twi'lek Devin will become Darth Talon? Maybe and no. It's like that's that. I'm Harry. Harry, you want to answer?
The Keanu Reeves thing, yeah, probably. I don't know. Weirdly, it feels like too obvious to me to have Keanu Reeves play Darth Revan. But yes, I could see it. I could see it definitely working. It would certainly do well with, like, the amnesia. Just to have a lot of Keanu Reeves going, what? Huh? Starforge?
Dave Franco.
Ooh.
It's like,
Dave Franco.
You know what? I'm sick and tired of seeing him as a comedy role. Let's give him a dramatic Star Wars role where he's Darth Revan. I would fuck with it.
He was in a great horror movie this year or last year called Together.
Yeah, was it with Alison Brie?
Yeah, that was a tight movie. That was really good. So yeah. No, I'm coming around to Dave Franco. Yeah, that could be really interesting. Yeah,
like I'd be down with it. And as far what do we think about Darth Talon? We talked about this during our Darth Maul review.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's a maybe from me. I don't think so because I feel like Star Wars at the moment. While please don't lump me in with the whole like, oh my god, Star Wars is shit now because Disney's got it thing, because I think they've done some good stuff. But Star Wars that involves lightsabers is bad at the moment. And honestly, Darth Talon would be too interesting for them to do. Their only interest, it seems, when lightsabers are involved is to do exactly the same stories that we've already had.
Yeah, no, I would agree. All right, and the second question, part of the question is, I've heard that Abeloth might be coming in Ahsoka season 2, and Natalie Portman might be returning as Padme, and Abeloth will take Padme's form to deceive Anakin. Well, I've heard Anakin's going to be in there as a ghost, but I don't see that as happening. Like, I don't see that part as happening. I doubt that they're going to put Natalie Portman in there, and if they do, it'll just be as like a flashback kind of thing. They're not going to do any kind of like any nonsense of like, oh, the demon lady is taking the face of Padme to fuck up, to screw with it. Like, I don't see that happening.
I mean, yeah, maybe could be interesting.
Okay, and then so here to go back to our original topic, 885th says, I have a question too. Is this the worst thing since X-Men season 5? Overall, I'm talking about 97 season 2. I wouldn't say it's the worst thing. I don't remember. I'm gonna be honest. I don't remember the original X-Men cartoon season 5 as much. It's been a while since I've watched that, but I don't know. I think the animation style is pretty cool. Like I said, I think these battles are pretty great. I think this whole thing, like the fight in like what I'm assuming is like in Gambit's brain.
Yes, he's like, in his mind.
Like this whole thing is badass. Like him becoming a fucking what's his name? Xavier becoming a fucking gladiator and like fighting him, being like, oh well, when it comes to matters of the mind, I am stronger or something like that, and him becoming like a giant. I'm like, that's kind of badass. Like, we don't get to see Xavier fight very often. When we do, it's always cool. I
do like the fact that he gets beaten in this scenario as well. Because we've had it happen before of, he enters someone's mind. It's like, now I am the one who is powerful. And Gambit's like, no, I can still kick your ass. Don't you worry.
And then we get to see this moment of like, we do see where Gambit and Apocalypse, like both of their consciousnesses are inside the body, and like, and again, I like how he's still fucking with it by Apocalypse's I guess his time frame or whatever. It's been like centuries since he saw Xavier last, but he's still just fucking with him. He's like, oh, after all this time, you've learned nothing, and just like again, completely like screwing with him. I thought that was kind of cool. And then let me see here. Yeah, like the episode kind of ends with him with Remy going into a coma. I think he still has Apocalypse like in him, but it's like dormant now.
yeah, this is where we get on to the plot now is how do we save him without killing him, and also how do we prevent Apocalypse from taking over?
Exactly, and then also keeping X-Force and X Factor from fucking like killing him, because that's the ending scene is we get to see these two teams team up, and we also get to see this chick who I'm curious what do you make of? Apparently this is supposed to be a comic book accurate. Like I actually Googled this after this episode, and I guess this is like her outfit from the comic books. I'm curious what were your thoughts on.
I mean, I don't know. I don't like this character that much. I think we talked about it with the last few episodes, like the Polaris episode, where she's like, "How dare you fire back at this guy? We're the U.S. government. We're the good guys. We wouldn't do something like this." It's like, hey, you. This is a military action. You guys are very happy to justify this military action. I don't really understand what the problem is here. I feel they use this character to like cause to create tension that wasn't necessarily actually there in the story.
Mm-hmm. She's kind of like the Amanda Waller of this thing.
Yes,
like you know, X, which is also funny because that group is called Task Force X. But yeah, so I just brought this up because I remember watching this and being like, why are you dressed up in like pseudo tactical gear? You don't fight. You're not a mutant. You don't do like. Why do you have an X Factor like outfit on? You look ridiculous.
Because everyone gets a uniform. Everyone gets like a fun costume. Because hey, if you can create a design that visually works there and it's distinct, then maybe they'll owe you for that character for a lot longer.
Oh, that's true. Also, we got Draven saying it's weird how Cyclops and Havoc don't know that they still don't know that they're related in this continuity. Don't they? I could have sworn that they were, there was like an episode or something in the old series where they did cross paths. Maybe not.
Maybe they don't. Right. They definitely did in Evolution, but yeah, I can't remember if they did in the 90s show.
Yeah, I don't really remember. I suppose it doesn't really matter. And again, like with Havoc being there, I'm sure that they'll eventually come around to doing an episode like that. All right, so this is the one I was talking about. I thought it was I'll bring it down until it starts being cooperative. But one thing I thought was really cool was the opening for this time around for this final episode. Did you notice that what I'm talking about?
They changed the opening for this episode, and we had the characters involved in it.
Well, yeah. So here, let me show what I'm talking about. Like that, they had X Factor rather than being Magneto's, rather than being the Brotherhood of Mutants. I thought this was kind of cool that they have this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I enjoyed that. That was a cool little like nod to it, especially considering Magneto's dead. So it doesn't really make sense for him to be the bad guy anymore.
Yes, yeah, definitely doesn't.
So yeah, I thought that was a cool little nod. That was one thing that was points for this episode, in my opinion. But let me see here. Yeah, so it starts off with X Factor and X Force like teaming up. They're going to go make a raid on the mansion or on the tower to go kill Gambit. Meanwhile, the other X-Men they go back to ship to go find like a way to beat Apocalypse, and that's when Rogue becomes like I don't even know, Celestial Rogue.
I guess so. Yeah, sure, we'll go with that.
I'm just like I didn't know what to call it. Like we get here. Let me skip right ahead. Yeah, we get Rogue talking to the Celestial, and she gets like, again, the only thing I can think of is like it gave me like Captain Marvel vibes or kind of Celestial, kind of like Eternals vibes.
Yeah, also, you're right.
Wonder Woman.
Yes, I was gonna say some Wonder Woman vibes, definitely.
So yeah, I'm like I don't know how I didn't know how to feel about that. I was wondering what your opinion was on this whole plot point of her becoming like a Celestial in order to beat goddamn Apocalypse.
I don't know. To be fair, I think it was a little bit checked out at this point. It felt like it was just sort of, we're going to do whatever we need to sort of justify whatever action scenes we have coming up next. I didn't think that it was something that made enough radical changes that like it was going to be that big an issue for the story. It might come up later potentially, but I was sort of like, yeah, okay, cool. You know, it's the Dragon Ball Z. I've got to go an extra level of Super Saiyan to beat Cell this time. Something along those lines. I can live with it.
Yeah, and it's fine. I knew that they were going to do some kind of MacGuffin something or other, but I just think it's interesting that like the final battle comes down to like Rogue and Remy, and like both super powered by celestial energy. And so but like she ends up getting that. Let me see here, and then like the rest of the episode is just a giant battle. Like it's literally just X Factor and X Force trying to take over. I guess X Corp or the X Corp Tower, and it's literally just a giant like I said, it's a huge battle for the next 20 minutes. So I'm curious, how did you feel about that? Because there was a lot going on, and it wasn't bad. It was just, again, like I was expecting more Apocalypse and less X-Men fighting X-Men.
Yeah, I think so. It was fine, and one of the things I'll at least give this show is I like that it showcases lesser known X-Men characters. But I mean, this moment here, the like nice try, lady, but my brains have been scrambled enough already, and that felt a bit cheap. Partly because I think Wolverine, similar to say the Juggernaut or to other characters, like okay, Wolverine is very hard to physically hurt or to incapacitate, so you kind of need him to have something of a weakness. So then saying, oh no, you can't even attack him in his mind is a little bit Mary Sue-ish, a little bit too perfect. And I didn't appreciate the quip that much. It reminded me of my edgy friends from when I was like 20 who were like, oh yeah, well, we're all crazy here. The people who like, I don't know, think that they're interesting because they once got prescribed antidepressants. It's like, yeah, man, cool. I'm glad to see that you're trying to deal with your stuff. You don't need to brag about it.
You want to talk about uninteresting? Not Storm. I like Storm, but I do like these little like manned manned sentinels. Like that's pretty cool. But the one thing I do not care about, and it's right around here, is Forge. I could give two shits about. I'm like, you want to talk about uninteresting? He is the most like boring. I didn't give a fuck about him during the show.
Yeah, I've never been a huge Forge fan. I have to admit. I think I've never been. Again, this is me allowing some of my childhood to come up. But when I was a kid, I was never that interested in the wow, their superpower is they can make anything. Because I'm like, no, that's not laser beams. I want laser beams. I am 10 years old. Give me laser beams. And also it's an issue in Marvel and probably just in comics in general of there's too many geniuses. There's too many people who can do that. Having just watched Fantastic Four, I put up with that enough. But when you go back to older Fantastic Four stories and it's just like, well, we're just waiting until Reed makes the machine that fixes everything and then everything will be fixed. So having a character like Forge doing his From Genosha with Love jetpack scene wasn't that interesting.
Yeah, see, I'm like, I wasn't down for that. I thought it was cool when Gambit showed up again and started beating up on what's his name, the like Multi-Man or whatever the hell his name is.
Yes, yeah, Gambit waking up and sort of joining the good guys again. It's so nice to see Gambit back to his old Gambit stuff. Look at how cool that fucking coat is. Multi-Man, nice coat. Is it as cool as Gambit's? No.
I mean, go for brown over like the green. Like that's just you feel like you're trying to copy Gambit, but you're not doing it very well.
Like, why did you mug Kevin Smith and steal his Silent Bob coat?
Exactly. I hope that this part was cool for you or cathartic because we got a moment of her ripping off random metal panels on the wall. Like very nice. as one does in the 90s in 90s cartoons, like everything was metal and had to be made of panels.
Everything's made of metal panels. Every gun is a laser.
But like I said, the fight, while it is long and there's a lot going on here and there's just so many people fighting so many others, like I thought it was cool to see, have Cable fighting his parents, and he knows that their weaknesses, so he's like takes off Cyclops' like visor and shit like that. Like he knows what he needs to do to beat his parents. Like I thought that was kind of cool. I thought, let me see here. Yeah, like there was a lot that was cool about it, and then we get to this part, which I thought was kind of goofy. We get Gambit, Gampocalypse, I guess. I don't even know what you call this, but
it feels like Glampocalypse. Like this is like if Apocalypse was the front man of an emo band in 2007.
Kinda, yeah. It's like kind of like he's doing is like a juggalo or like a kiss thing. But yeah, so I'm like I was about it until we start getting him like he's transforming all the X-Men, he's turning them all into his little like servants or whatever, except for Xavier. And then at the very last second, then Rogue shows up and that she Ex Machina is this whole thing. Like it's fine, I guess, but it's just like I would have liked this whole fight to be them fighting Apocalypse as opposed to fighting each other, and then Apocalypse shows up and just says, "Oh no, I win," and then nope, Rogue shows up and says she wins. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a bit disappointing when all of that action boils down to a zero sum. Like if this is what was needed to win the day, that meant that everything else we did before was just treading water. You know, it was just blowing up buildings for the fun of blowing up buildings, rather than actually this is us like working to get to the end.
Exactly, and I'm like. And then all we get all it boils down to is Apocalypse being put into another fucking gem. Like we get an Apocalypse Infinity Stone, and I'm just like I don't, cool, but and so yeah, and then we give it. Like she ends up giving it to Cable. She's like, here, if anyone knows what to do with it, it should be you. Like you'll figure it out. And then that's just kind of the end of that.
Immediately shoots it.
Dude, and releases Apocalypse again.
It's the only thing I know how to do. Like,
so yeah, and then her powers go away, or like the celestial powers go away. We're expecting her to die, and at the last second, she's like, "Huh, that's weird." And it's revealed that the reason that she didn't die is because Nightcrawler went in after her and gave up his life.
Yeah,
and it's a nice little ending. I thought it was a nice little oh, well, if I give up my life, my friends will go on. They'll build more. They'll have children. They'll have families. They'll do this, that, and the other. And so much more life will, come of it. And like the Celestial is actually like convinced and is like, okay, cool, whatever. But one thing that kind of bugs me is that immediately after that, it also says that like there's the end credit scene that shows that the dude, the racist guy, is becoming president. So I'm like, not really. It's like, yeah, nice soppy ending, but also there's gonna be another like, mutant war or Sentinels or something. That's Mutant Registration Act.
Yeah. So we got to run through all this again. Yeah, I mean, at least maybe then I won't have to put up with Nightcrawler. Yeah, trying to get me to care about the humanity of people who've done inhuman things.
Yeah. Well, no. See, now next episode or next season, we're gonna have Nightcrawler have to come back and defend Mystique, or it's gonna be Rogue's turn to be like, oh well, Kurt would have wanted me to defend her because she's on trial for something.
I mean, honestly, like if we have to do some sort of story to bring back Nightcrawler, I think something that could genuinely be kind of satisfying. Although, as was it, Batman fan. 185th Batman fan said about it being the no death universe, that it won't mean anything if Mystique can come back, but if Mystique sacrifices herself to get Nightcrawler back, like sort of has a moment of repenting and feeling guilt about her children, and maybe sort of being like, I did love my children, but I didn't know how to be a mother and mix that in with the life that I was leading. I could see that being like a satisfying story. But if she's going to then just come back a few episodes later, it's really going to ruin that. So she needs to be like dead.
Yeah. Or something like, because again, with this end credit scene of her being like, so I want to point this out that people have been like claiming that she was this chick the whole time, the director girl, but she apparently now she is now basically. So I'm interested to see what they're going to do with that.
I sort of had a similar thing because she is the character that would be Mystique, like a prime fodder for this was actually Mystique the entire time.
Mhm.
But I'm kind of glad they've done the switcheroo now, because it would have made less sense some of the things she did as that character to be Mystique, and they'd have to do a lot of explaining to try and say any way that made sense. But having her come in as Mystique now, yeah, it's a good opportunity to do more storylines.
Yeah. I also just enjoyed all this little secret stuff here. So I don't know if you noticed this. Like we had like her stuff on her thing. As I says, her alias is Raven, which is like that's her name from the movie. It was Raven Caldwell or something like that. And then we also get like I don't know what these are supposed to be, but it's like we get Randall C, Rebecca R, and Jennifer L. So we get all the actresses who played Mystique.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, so like Randall C, I think that's the original like voice actress, Rebecca Romaine, and the other one is Jennifer Lawrence.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I just enjoy, I've noticed that when I first watched this, I'm like, oh, that's a cool little nod.
I like the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants in the Known Associates.
Yeah, exactly. We had like Scarlet Witch. There's Magneto. We see Blob in there. Like I thought that was cool too. I'm like, I think there's a few other things here. Like it's like you can see in like in the bottom there, it says like Kurt Wagner, Nightcrawler. It says like Graydon Jr. or whatever. So it's like, yeah, it does say like there's a couple of like other things that are like blacked out, but it's like you can tell it's like her family or whatever. Let me see. We are getting Destiny next season, probably. We might get Captain Marvel next season, dude. If you want, like we were talking, one of y'all, I think it was Draven actually, was talking about the what if, like it felt like a what if storyline, or it felt like the what if writers were on this season. And I'm like, if they're really trying to push for the multiverse stuff, so I wouldn't be surprised if they start bringing in, Captain Marvel and have what's her name, Brie Larson voice her. I wouldn't be surprised if they brought in like the Fantastic Four or Spider-Man or other characters like that.
Yeah, and we've had some crossovers before in the animated show. I think Spider-Man did turn up in the old animated show.
Indeed, he did, and I think the X-Men also turned up in his show.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, because in the Secret Wars or wherever it was, Spider-Man was definitely called on. Spider-Man definitely called on Storm and someone else. I think. I think it was Rogue. I think it was Rogue and Storm. But anyway, so where would you rate these last 3 episodes? Personally, I think that again the action was kind of cool, but as far as story wise, I think this deserves maybe like a 3 out of 5, like this. Yeah. I think I'm with you on that. I think the drama hasn't been there like it was in the first season. I think the first season had like a much more coherent plot line that ran through the entire season, and it felt like it developed at a better pace. This one has, like you said, the ending just sort of pops up and they're like, oh, we have to finish this whole apocalypse thing. After we went and had a bunch of fun with other characters, we've got to go do this one now. So yeah, it didn't have quite the satisfying end. And it does feel, I think, a little bit like it has made the show feel like there aren't consequences and that consequences can be undone. So yeah, we had to wait a couple of years for another season, but that character that died, and it was a big thing that they died, they're back. And yeah, which then questions like, oh, well, we had Magneto die. Is Magneto always going to be dead? Oh, Nightcrawler died. Is Nightcrawler always going to be dead? So yeah, I think a 3 out of 5 sits well for this.
I'm gonna be really bugged if they end up doing some kind of multiverse thing where like they bring another Magneto back from another, like a variant of Magneto from another universe. Because they've done that before with like the what if shows where like they bring a Black Widow from another universe into a universe where she died, and it's like, so yeah, I'm like, it's cool, whatever. They get a completed Avengers team, but boo, I don't want that to just be, because again, that's always going to be the thing, is that when someone dies, they're just going to bring them back somehow, like with that.
Yeah, and like comics have always been like that, so it is a thing you kind of have to accept. But I just feel like it took longer. Like, at least in like the number of issues you would have between someone dying and when they came back could be larger because you just produce more issues a year, and it could be long, more years than just a couple.
Yeah. All right. On that note, I think before we wrap it up, there was the last thing I wanted to talk about. We didn't talk about it last week, and because I wanted to save it for this week. There was the castings from D23 for X-Men.
Yes.
So yeah, we got here. Let's bring him up right here. So we got Jean Grey. It's Sadie Sink. We already knew that one if you watched the Spider-Man movie. There was Kit Connor. I'm not sure who that is, but he's Cyclops. Let me see here. Samara Weaving is going to be Emma Frost. We got Inde Navarrete. Indy, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but she's the lady from Obsession. She's going to be Rogue. Maya Boyd is going to be Storm. Christopher Abbott is going to be Professor X, and then Adam Driver is going to be Mr. Sinister. So
I think of that casting, the one that seems the most interesting to me is going to be Adam Driver as Mr. Sinister. I'm really interested to see Mr. Sinister in live action. Mm-hmm. And I think Mr. Sinister is like an interesting character to use because he's kind of goofy, to be honest. But he's also supposed to be like a real bad guy, and so needs to be sort of set up as being kind of evil. So I'm really interested to see them bring that character into the live action. I don't know necessarily if Adam Driver was the guy that I would definitely cast for him, but when I heard that, I was like, yeah, I could see that working.
See, yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that Indy Navarrete, or again that lady, I'm sure that they've been saying that like she looks like she's going to be a great rogue. Like her acting in Obsession was so fucking like awesome that people are just like all the people I've talked to about it are like, dude, I can't wait to see what she does with it. So that's a good choice. I think the one that surprised me the most is Christopher Abbott. So I'm not as familiar with his like work, but what surprised me is that he's really young. Dude's like, well, I mean, he's 40 years old, but I'm like, that's fairly young for Professor X. I don't know. I'm curious how they're gonna do that.
That will be interesting.
And then this is the first time we've had what he said. This is the first time we've had Emma Frost since X-Men First Class. Yes, and yeah, that is indeed true. It's been a minute since we've had her. I think she looks like. I think she'll be all right. Like I liked Ready or Not. You know, she did a good job in there, and I'm willing to see how it goes.
I'm really fascinated to see because we've been given this cast so far. Presumably, this is not a complete cast because there are some things where I'm like, it feels like we're missing some key characters, and this collection of characters that we've seen who the cast for doesn't feel like enough for an X-Men movie. It feels like a bit of a weird bunch to have. Like, okay, so we've got Rogue, we've got Emma Frost, we've got Mr. Sinister, we've got Storm, we've got Professor X. Like who else are we getting? Are we getting an Angel? Are we getting a Beast? Are we going to get more of like a original X-Men team from the comics, or presumably not if we're getting Rogue? So like, are we picking an era, or is it just more of a collection? Yeah, like Draven, like, are we getting a Beast? Like we showed Beast turned up. What movie was it the Beast turned up in? The
X-Men 3?
No, we had him show up in like a post-credit scene in the Marvels. It might have been.
Oh yes. Yeah, when what's her name, Photon or whatever, when she goes through the portal and ends up in another galaxy or another universe. Yeah, like Hank McCoy comes and tells her, like, "Oh, you've transported to another universe, my dear," and it's Kelsey Grammer. Yeah,
it's Kelsey Grammer again. Yeah, so does that mean we're getting Kelsey Grammer back at some point for this, and we'll have him as a Beast? Like, I mean, because if you had something like that, like if you had like a young Professor X, but then maybe you had an older. You switch it around a bit, and in this world, like Beast is the sort of older teacher character, and Professor X is sort of learning from him. That could be interesting. I don't know, but
that would be cool. That would be kind of cool to have Beast be like the mentor to Professor X, to a younger Professor X. I'm interested to see. So if we're gonna it seems like they're building it up to be a Mr. Sinister. What 885th says is that it seems they're. Oh no! Wait. It's Draven who said that. This might be the first X-Men movie without a Magneto, not counting the Wolverine ones. But so with that, I'm like, it feels like they're making Mr. Sinister the bad guy. If they do that, do you think they should add a Magneto, but just have him like as a side character, or have him like maybe be a friend to Charles and then later get angry at him and then be like, oh, I don't trust, kind of thing. Like have them be buddies and then not
You could do something like that. Yeah. Have it more where their ideals aligned, and like is in First Class, their relationship and the schism between them is in that first movie. But if you could just have it more as like, oh yeah, he's a guy that we have researched together and we've done some of the things, and he hasn't turned yet. That could be interesting. I don't know. I think it might also just be good just to leave a Magneto out for a minute because yeah, Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen were very iconic in those roles. And I think Marvel has done quite well so far in going like, that's been done. Don't touch it again. We don't need to do it again. Like how, we didn't get an origin story for Spider-Man. We just jumped in. Spider-Man was already Spider-Man. We don't have to go through that again. I think it would be good for them to go, actually, we're gonna hold off on that for a while.
See, so here'd be a crazy thing. It'd be interesting if they did like a Magneto story where instead of them being like old friends, they make Magneto a young guy too. Like they make him like a teenager or something, like make him an X-Man that is under Charles' tutelage, but then he ends up getting angry and being like, oh, I don't trust you anymore, and goes his own way after like a botched like mission or a movie or something like that.
Yeah, yes, yeah, you could have something like that. Yeah, just switch it up a bit, and they've already shown they're going to do that to an extent. And I think that's one of the things where like it's one of the things that I don't think I'm going to see it, but I would love to see for the third season of 97 is I think they need to branch out more. I think this season was good that they brought in X Factor, they brought in X Force. They were looking at other people to go, okay, let's take these other characters. But I kind of want them to do that even more and to have the story start focusing even more on like the wider canon of characters. So I think it'd be good if the movies at least could do that or something like that. Let's go look at stories and characters that we haven't dealt with as much. So the fact that, yeah, we're starting out with Mr. Sinister is really positive for me. I don't know. So how do you think Emma Frost is going to be portrayed? I don't know. I'm concerned that Emma Frost is in this. Emma Frost, to me, I feel like all the depictions I've seen of Emma Frost have been a bit one note for me. Yeah, kind of like
that is to say, snooty.
Yeah, just like she's sexy but she's evil. Oh, and I'm
now don't get me wrong, I fuck with that. I absolutely fuck with a sexy Emma Frost, and I'm all about that. And the only thing is that what I was going to say is that the reason they were doing Emma Frost, I thought they were going to try to do a love triangle between like Cyclops, Jean, and Emma. But the thing is that Samara Weaving is 10 years older than both Kit Connors and Sadie Sink. So if they are going to do that, that's going to be a really, shall we say, problematic because if they're supposed to be teenagers and she's in her going to be in her 20s, that's probably not where you want to go with that. So I don't know, maybe they'll make her like a mentor, kind of like a teacher alongside Charles, but I don't think they're going to necessarily do her as like she's hitting on Scott or trying to do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, they could do something along those lines. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, that's the one thing that concerns me. And for me, Emma Frost is the Hellfire Club. So I'm always like, if you don't have the Hellfire Club, you can't have Emma Frost. But yeah, I've just been talking about how we should do different things and interpret things differently, and then saying, no, but don't interpret this thing differently. I don't want you to. So, hey, I'm aware that I'm not very good to please.
Emma Frost is like Selena Kyle. She can be sexy, but evil, but there's more to her than that. No, that's fair. But I think if we were going to do Emma Frost, let's do her. If we've done everything else in the MCU, they've done everything else in the MCU their own way. Let's do that one too, because there's no real it's not, again, there's no problem with a sexy Emma Frost but it's like let's do the MCU's version of it. Let's not necessarily do like she's in a corset and like thigh highs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the weird furry cape. David does mention about Emma Frost did have a rival school to Xavier, so maybe we can get the Hellions. That could be interesting.
Ooh,
yeah,
that would be cool.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, well, I remember, aren't they all like a bunch of like other like blonde girls who are kind of like her, but just less
Oh, yeah,
powerful.
might be. Yeah.
So that's what I seem to recall the Hellions were. Which again, I'm not knocking it. Anywho, I think that's I don't know. I think that's about the last thing I want to ask is that what characters do you think are missing, or what characters do you think need to be in this movie guaranteed, like any X-Men movies?
Needs to be in the movie.
Like we got our Storm, Cyclops, Jean, Professor X. Like who has to be there as well?
In my opinion, I think an X-Men story is incomplete without Beast. So I want to see Beast in there somewhere. I don't mind if it's not Kelsey Grammer. I do mind if it is even at all like Nicholas Hoult Beast, because I hate that Beast so much. So I don't know who would do it. Fuck it, get Jason Momoa to do it. He seems to be happy to work at the moment.
Ooh, that's actually not a bad call.
Yeah, it's just a massive dude. Like, you know, like that's what you need. A massive dude who can pretend to be smart. That's all I need.
See, if he could do a Russian accent, I'd say John Cena should be Colossus.
Ooh.
Like, I think that would work really, really well. But I don't think he can do a Russian accent.
Yeah.
But, Iceman. That's one I think should have to be in there is Iceman.
Oh yeah.
I don't know who you're gonna cast as him because the guy Sean Ashmore is a little too old at this point to do that. But still though, like Iceman.
Well, that could be cool. Yeah. Go and really old school original X-Men. Yeah, have Iceman in there. That'd be fun. I don't know. I think because I'm so like, I want to see weirder characters from X-Men turn up. And for some reason, a little voice in my head is like, cast Rey Mysterio as Puck from Alpha Flight. That would be incredible.
Oh no, Peter Dinklage. Just make Peter Dinklage Puck.
Peter Dinklage can't do a 619.
Fair. Also, Peter Dinklage he's a gatekeeper when it comes to little roles, so fuck him. Oh damn, we got the dude in here saying season 1 was so shit. Yeah, apparently the dude does not abide.
That is.
But all right. But I think with that, actually, we're going to wrap it up here. So this has been our review of X-Men 97 / slight discussion on the X-Men castings. Yeah, thank you guys all for being here. Okay, this will be the last one. The Rock as Apocalypse. Although I bet he wouldn't fight the X-Men, he would demand to fight Thor or some shit. Well,
if we're casting wrestlers, the Undertaker should be Apocalypse.
Ooh, that's not bad. That was not bad at all, actually. He has the face; he could absolutely pull it off. All right, all right. So while we're talking about it, Mr. Sinister, Danhausen.
yeah. He just kind of is down, Mr. Sinister already. Yeah.
Anyway, that's it, guys. We're done. We're out of here. Thank you so much to 885th Batman fan, Angie, Draven. We had, let me see here. No misdirection today, but we also had Moises Kate. I don't even know who the hell that guy is. He was the one who asked us who the fuck we were. And we also had the dude in here. Thank you guys for being in here and for everyone else who was just lurking and not chatting. Make sure you chat with us next time so we can shout you out. And, of course, thank you to Peaky Aero Productions, our Fulcrum Council member. We appreciate him. Harry, anything you want to say before we go or anything?
No news from me. No.
Alrighty then, same here. But we eventually we'll come back with more content eventually. I don't know, guys. We're working on it. But until next time, I have been Gilbert.
I've been Harry.
And this has been the Fulcrum Entertainment Podcast. Make sure you check us out next week. We'll be doing probably just a shoot the shit episode. One of my comedy friends has asked if they could be on the podcast, so I might bring her on next week. We'll see. But yeah, so until that time, or until next time, we will see you guys all. And yeah, remember, we are all Fulcrum. Take it easy, everybody.